Hello, everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I am here to give you the astrology forecast for the Sagittarius New Moon. I'm calling this When You Wish Upon a Star. It's some really fabulous energy that is coming our way with this Sagittarius New Moon. And so first, I'm just going to talk about Sagittarius. Well, first, I'm going to tell you when it's happening. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So it's happening on November 23rd at 1 degree 37 minutes of Sagittarius at 2:57 p.m. Pacific. And the sun, the moon, Venus, and Mercury are all in Sagittarius. And actually, at this new moon, we actually have 6 planets in mutable signs because we also have um, um, Neptune and Pisces, Neptune and Jupiter both in Pisces. And so, what does that mean? That's where I'm going to start, really, is the mutable energy. Mutable energy is about adaptation and changing circumstances, or let's put it that better, adaptation to changing circumstances. So, and at this new moon, of course, every new moon, we set an intention for the next, 29 and a half days until the next new moon. And so we might find that our plans kind of take on a life of their own. You might have to consistently adjust your plans. That might be a way to say it, to things changing. All right. So what is a Sagittarius? And we have, 4 planets there. And so the Sagittarius archetype is very much it's the gypsy, it's the philosopher, it's the seeker of truth. And some of the characteristics are freedom. Sagittarius and Aquarius, I think, are the 2 signs that most need freedom in their lives. They need space, they need freedom, and Sagittarius absolutely needs some space. It is very much an optimistic, joyful kind of an energy. It sees the glass half full. It is an experiential kind of an energy. Sagittarius only knows fire is hot when they put their finger in it. My teacher that I had for a long time in astrology said that he used to ask his Sagittarian clients, have you made a lot of mistakes in your life? And of course they say yes. And he says, well, congratulations, you're on your path. And so it is about allowing ourselves to make mistakes and learn from them, get, up, when we fall off the bicycle, get right back on and keep going, and, and see that, what you need to do differently next time around, but to take the risk to do it. Sagittarius is very much about the expansion of consciousness through many different means: travel, adventure, like adventure sports, like climbing mountains and things that really are risk-taking. It's the seeker of truth, and there's different activities that kind of put us in that space where we really test ourselves and test the universe. And that's often what a Sagittarius is about. It's also about inner journeys, shamanic journeys, the exploration of our own inner consciousness. It is about cross-cultural experiences. It rules religion and philosophy, our different perspectives, our worldview. It is the big picture. That's what Sagittarius and Jupiter really bring in. It's the big picture, that everything is connected. And the thing is how to put them together, how to put the pieces together. All right. It's very much one of the goals as well is tolerance for diversity in its quest for the truth. And being an experiential kind of an energy, it is, recognizing that on our quest for the truth, we have many different experiences, and that it's the journey, not the destination, that really matters. It's what we find out. We find out pieces of truth along the way, of our truth, of our inner truth, and of the bigger picture, the cosmic truth. Okay. um the shadow side is, as I was talking about, the tolerance for diversity being, one of the goals. One of the shadow sides, as well as, the seeker of truth, is that there can be moments when, with Sagittarius, where there is a belief that they have found the truth, that the truth is found, and this is my truth, and it's the truth for everyone. Whereas the bigger goal is the tolerance of diversity, recognizing that each of us is a different face of creator and carry our own perspective. And there isn't going to be anyone who has the exact same perspective as us. And each of us bring that to the table, and so it really is about the freedom to express ourselves, but know that there is that shadow side. It can be very opinionated. That's maybe the word I'm looking for. Sagittarius can be very opinionated. There's also the piece of, Sagittarius is very blunt. It can be the open mouth, insert foot syndrome. And it's important to recognize that sometimes things just need to be said however they come out, if they're said with, a good intention. But also, especially in these holidays of getting together, a little diplomacy could be helpful. Thinking before you speak. Okay. All right. So anyway, this new moon is in a trine to Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter is also conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And Jupiter is the ancient ruler, what we call the ancient ruler. Jupiter is the modern ruler of Sagittarius. Excuse me. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, is said to be. It was also the ancient ruler of Pisces before Neptune was discovered. So both of the rulers of Pisces are conjunct in Neptune, and Jupiter is in a beautiful, flowing, energetic trine to this new moon. And so there's a lot of beauty, but a few shadow pieces. And one of the first things, Pisces is so much about, all is not as it seems. So it's important to recognize that we may have strong opinions about things, but it's important to be open to other ideas, because reality is really not at all what we believe to be. It is unfolding the bigger aspects of reality. And so as we go to our Thanksgiving dinners, be open to all points of view, knowing there is not just one truth. And Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces bring in unity consciousness. So it is being open to that diversity, like I said, because the truth is there really is no other. Each of us are a hologram of source, and we reflect each other. And we're bringing in the unconditional love of the universe. This brings in a more expansive field. We have had, the field has had an energetic upgrade with the eclipses. And now it is time to feel it. It is a recalibration of the energy as we recalibrate our consciousness to these higher frequency vibrations. And like I said, recognizing that there really is no other. We are each a face of creator, and actually we are all, faces of source. Okay. And the important thing, as I said, as well as recognizing the more expansive energy in the field, is that with Pisces and Neptune is so much about feeling what is true, and Jupiter as well, feeling the flow of energy and responding to it, and follow the doors that open. That's maybe a better way to say it. Follow the energy, follow the doors that open. This is a huge amount of water, and how water deals with obstacles is to go around them. You don't need to go through them. Find the way around and follow the energy. And don't try to break down doors. If the door is going to open, it's going to open. It's a time to be willing to change our minds and perspectives in response to the flow of energy, and allow more of a bird's eye view and the bigger picture. Even if you don't understand what is happening in the moment, be open to other ideas. For when we change our perspective to allow for more expansive view and understanding, it changes our experience, and our experience is our reality. And of course, Jupiter is the planet of blessings and opportunity. And so, so much gratitude in this Thanksgiving season. When we count our blessings, it changes our experience. As I have said before, the attitude of gratitude changes everything. It is important to acknowledge and appreciate what you have, because for that is what is relevant for you. And what you don't have is not relevant. Even though you may, in your ego, desire for something, if it's not in your field right now, it's not what is relevant for you. This also, Jupiter brings in hope and faith in the future. We are passing through turbulent times, but we are being shown how to navigate it. We are in a field of infinite possibilities and miracles. And so it's always, miracles are always, I would say plan B, to always have, plan A is what you have and your plan. And then, but, to hold that possibility, because there is nothing impossible in the world of spirit. And from what I've been listening to, I've shared before about a channel named Bashar, who is a star being from the future. And he says, in the fifth dimensional field, the 5D field is actually a field of miracles, or what we call miracles. He says, what we are experiencing is what is abnormal. Because we are in this field of intense polarity. But the more we come into unity consciousness, the more the field of miracles opens. And as I said, I'm calling this, when you wish upon a star, because right now, Jupiter is the brightest star in the sky. It is in its closest to Earth that it has been in quite a while, and will be again. I don't remember the dates, but it is absolutely brilliant. Jupiter looks like Venus. And, usually we see Venus either rising in the east in the morning or setting in the west in the evening. Jupiter is bright all night long. You can see Jupiter. And so I would just say, to make a wish upon this star, and to know that when you do, that your prayers have been heard. Okay, I recently wished upon a star. I saw Jupiter and knew that it was there for blessings. And the other thing is, I didn't mention, is that this Jupiter in Pisces is stationary. It's just gone retrograde, getting ready to go direct, but it is the day of the new moon. It is stationary. And when something is stationary, it adds a tremendous focus. And so I was sharing, I made a wish for myself. I made a wish for inner peace, because to me, at this point in my life, that is actually what means more than anything to me. And I also know that to have peace, and we need to be the peace we want to see in the world. And so that was my wish. And I believe my prayer has been answered. My prayer has been heard. We will see how it is answered. That's really the way to look at it. The prayer has been heard, and we will see how it unfolds as to how it is answered. All right. So also at this new moon, Venus is 9 degrees of Gemini, is conjunct the star Antares. Antares is a big, beautiful red star. It's what's called a royal star of Persia. It's in the heart of the Scorpion, and it carries great significance. These royal stars, they were called watchers. And I believe I can't remember, but Uriel is maybe, I think, the watcher of the South. Anyway, it is connected to the Archangel Uriel, who is known as the light of God. And what it does, how it impacts us, is it brings passion and intensity to life. It being a royal star of Persia, it is a gift giver. So it says to follow your passion as it brings this intensity to your life. But also know, if you go too far, if you go to too many extremes, it can be your own undoing. It can lead to extremes through which can be one's undoing. So to just be aware of that. But it is also giving blessings. All right. So Mars is still retrograde in Gemini and square Neptune. And as I was saying, and Mars retrograde is often about making a course correction, readjustments, constant readjustments to our plans, because Mars is our direction in life. It's also our passion, our desire, and where we take action. And so, like I said, with as well as with all of these these planets in mutable signs, that there can be. Don't be surprised if you have to do that. All right, not just now though, because Mars retrograde is retrograde until mid-January. Okay, and so Mars retrograde is in Gemini, and so it says slow down and think before you act or speak. Okay, and especially in this holiday season, what is your goal or intention in what you are saying? So it's really important to just take a pause before you speak, or before you act, and kind of let it settle in and see what it is that wants to be said or what it is that wants to be done, especially at these family gatherings. Now, Mars, like I said, is also square Neptune. So it's still saying to allow yourself to wonder and explore. With Mars retrograde, what you need to know for your next step may just simply not be present yet, that it's still in a process of unfolding. And to allow for what is unfolding and choose what lights up your heart of the choices that are presented to you, what you have available in the moment. A response to the energy and not necessarily the ideas that come up in our mind, to kind of feel the energy and follow it once again. Because Mars Neptune can also bring in deception and illusion and, self-deception. It is easy to follow the illusion of what you want to believe, because we can fool ourselves with this energy. It is tricky to discern the difference between what is our higher self calling to us for our next step and what is our ego desire. And I would say it's so important to listen to that small, still voice within, because it's what holds the truth, not the ego. And that is really our guide, is when we are connected to really, pray and investigate, what is unfolding. Okay, it's important to feel it. First, you have to feel the energy, but then second, you have to really sit with it and really discern, is this my higher self calling or is this my ego desire? Because they're both in the field. Okay. All right. We still have the Saturn-Uranus square, although it is separating. And like I said, these two won't come together again until 2032, when it's a conjunction. So this is actually a last quarter square. And all last quarter squares have to do with a crisis in consciousness. It's all about changing consciousness. All right. So these two, it's important to recognize the collapse of the old as the new reality is emerging. Observe what is happening in the external world, because it is there. It's not like you want to be a Pollyanna and say, oh, no, this isn't happening. It is happening. But the thing is to not participate in the drama, to recognize, to observe, say, yes, this is happening, but I'm going to choose, this is where I'm going to focus my energy, although I realize this is true. Okay. There's turbulence and change there in the field in so many areas now, and important to flow with the changes, when something wants to change in your world, to flow with it and check where you may have some resistance to it. And the most important thing I've heard recently, and I've been sharing it because I've been utilizing it in my life, is that it's not as important as to what happens, but to how we respond to what happens, because that is what creates our reality, is how we participate, how we respond, and how we participate in it. Okay. And to know we have a choice in how we respond. We can respond from a place of fear or a place of trust, knowing that everything that happens in our lives in some way is meant to serve us, whether it is something we prefer or not, because we certainly do have challenges. Okay. But, challenges are what comes our way, and it really triggers our growth edges. And as we know, it is in our growth edges is where the magic happens. Okay. And the other key is so important to stay centered within your own consciousness and understand that you are creating your own experience of your reality by your response to it. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Sabian symbol because it's really powerful. So, this Sabian symbol is the ocean covered with whitecaps. And of course, what this says, there's turbulence in the field. But in a situation of whitecaps, underneath in the lower portions of the ocean and the water, there is calm. So the turbulence is in the field, but underneath there is calm. To stay in that centered, calm place within yourselves. Circumstances change, but consciousness does not. Be the peace in the world, be the peace the world needs, especially in the midst of this outer turbulence. So we are in this, I believe that this new moon in Sagittarius is bringing potential for, great joy, counting our blessings. It can be a really beautiful time, even while there is tremendous turbulence in the field and change and collapse of old structures. And so the key is to stay centered within ourselves and know what matters is how we respond to the energy that is happening around us and stay centered within ourselves. And this is how we move through these turbulent times, raise our vibration, and stay in a field of joy. All right. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful month. Sending blessings to you all. All right. Namaste.